Okay, folks, it's still August 3rd, 2010. It's about 11 minutes after 6. See, this is an extension to the first video. I just called Neopost, and according to them, an envelope of this size would have a different way of rating the weight. I'm in front of Pantays out here on Union Street, and this is a letter I'm about to send to Patricia Griffin, the State Court Administrator. Hello again, Miss or Honorable Patricia Griffin. I'm not seeking legal advice from your office. As a person having a measure of confidence in the U.S. Constitution, the U.S. Code, and the various courts, and I'm seeking action. For the second time, I've had a lawsuit filed against me executed by Michael Morton. JP 13-10-006344 being the first, and JP 13-10-008692 being the second. I'm actually a machinist. I invent things. I know nothing about the law. What I do know is when things don't add up. I spot conflicts because I have fixed things all my life, having to troubleshoot them first. Page 2. Your Honor, before I proceed, let me make something clear. This is not a threat. I don't make threats. I get up in the morning to go to work, not to go to war. This latest lawsuit against me was responded to with a counterclaim listing scores of real reasons for its dismissal. However, after you read it, I think you will agree it should have been dismissed by the court clerk before I got it mailed to my address. I didn't mention in my counterclaim, look at the last page of the summons I received, generated June 24, 2010, and dated June 24 on page 4 of the summons. Line 17 of the 5th page reads, tenant was to vacate the premises on June 23, 2010. Line 18, despite receiving the termination letter, the tenant has failed to remove his belongings from the premises. Page 3. Your Honor, no JP court handed down an eviction order on me. I'm not an only tenant in an owner-occupied home. How could I have been evicted and the subject matter brought up in a secondary lawsuit without a copy of the June 23rd court order? How could a JP court clerk or JP court judge not see this? As you know, if a judge permits an ex parte attachment, that is, seizure of my property without giving me notice of a hearing before the fact in a state court proceeding, this is a deprivation of property without due process, violating the 5th Amendment as well as the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, having to do with anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. I forgot to write say, but I'll write it in there before I mail this. Look at line 18. Tenant has failed to remove. That's proof of an illegal entry. I already knew they did it. I already knew that they had been illegally in my unit over and over and over, searching even the closet, everything. Michael Morton's actions are an insult to the entire Delaware judiciary, including you. He is playing the JP court judges like they are a fiddle in the hands of a 2-year-old child. Page 3 of the summons I received has an electronic stamp date June 24th of 2010. The envelope it was in is dated June 29th, 2010. July 29th, 2010, over a month later. The first page of the summons is dated July 28th, 2010. Did they have some kind of an ex parte attachment or secret hearing around the week of June 24th or thereafter that I was not invited to? And that's why the discrepancy in the date. I'm not smoking crack. That last paragraph, by the way, is not written down. That's just a statement I'm making because that would give them a reason to have officially served me with eviction papers. The problem is that if the summons is dated June 24th, his own statement says that I was supposed to have vacated on June 23rd. So now, technically, I would have gotten it after the fact anyway. That's a discrepancy in and of itself. Now, for the last set of paragraphs on this page, it says, when I get the next summons, I'm not going to open it. When I open my mailbox, I'm doing it with the camera running, and I'll be videotaping my front door to capture things taped on it, such as a summons or complaint or anything from the landlord. This is how judges get misconduct complaints filed against them. well as 42 U.S.C. 1983 actions, 14 Amendment issues, and the Cobb versus Luce issues. Rumors have been circulating about Michael Morton having personal dealings with JP Court judges, that his PDA is laced with phone calls and text messages from them, some of them just before and just after trials. A 1983 complaint using the summons from the JP Court JP 13-10-008-692 lawsuit to the U.S. Attorney's Office and or the FBI will correct Mr. Morton if you can't. You see, Your Honor, the Department of Justice can see all Morton's calls for about 12 months back with timestamps and the ones he's received. And, although it's not in his letter, they can look at the hard drive on the computer at the JP Court and tell that it says I was mailed 8 pages, when in fact I was not. Add to the above the following. The plaintiff, Central YMCA residents of Delaware, operates with a board of directors, and one of the board members is Judge W.C. Carpenter Jr. His name is being smeared behind the scenes. I'm sure he's not aware of what's going on with the YMCA. Log on to Google, search up my little group thingy here. I'm going to put that in the paper. A Department of Justice investigation into Michael Morton alone will be enough to jam up a large part of Delaware's judiciary. If you cannot or will not help me, please let me know as soon as you can. I'll get help from the U.S. Attorney and the media. I'm requesting that you suspend Michael Morton's license for at least 18 months and have the JP Court judges read what they're about to rule on having to do with JP 13-10-006-344 and JP 13-10-008-692. 344 is in the appellate phase. Number 3, send me some kind of results from an investigation into Michael Morton's actions. Now, let me say on video, that's the last page, a 7-page letter, and we're at 6 minutes, 59 seconds. Hang on. Yeah. No, I wanted one nice. Whoa! Now, believe me, folks, I'm going to go ahead and drop this in the mailbox. State Court Administrator, 500 North King Street, Suite 11600. Attention, Patricia Griffin. It says here that the mail gets picked up Monday through Friday, 12:30, so she's got that covered. Now, let me just say something. I'm going to try and get a time and date stamp from this guy on a bicycle. Yo! Can you help me with a time and date stamp? A time and date stamp for YouTube. You don't have to be on video if you don't want to. I just need a time and date stamp for something I just mailed to put on YouTube. That's all. Oh. Do you have the date?
August the 3rd.
What time is it? Right. My watch says 6.
I have 6:15.
6. Well, I got 6:18, but yours is digital, so you're probably right.
Okay.
Okay. That's all I needed. Just to have somebody say that. Thank you.
No problem.
Yep. Now, once again, I got a summons with 5 pages. I'm going to deliver this summons to the U.S. Attorney Office and or the Department of Justice Office in this envelope. Again, you can see where the ink transferred itself off the pages onto the plastic. So it came in this envelope. And again, a blind person can see that that's the original stamp. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to notify the JP Court, although I should just wait and let them hand down a ruling on me to see how well they read things and if there's any ex parte contact. I'm going to go ahead and notify them and tell them what I detected and see how they react and how fast they react to it. According to Wikipedia, digital postmarks, the significance or legal significance, in addition to federal and state legislature frameworks, digital postmarks, or what they're referring to as a DPM, holds legal weight with respect to the following legislation. So there is some information in the postmark on here. Let's see, we're up to 9 minutes 52 seconds. So I'm gonna have to cut this video short, but I'm gonna do probably a third because when I go home, I'm expecting to have something either in my mailbox or taped to my door, and I'm gonna have a witness on video. So let me go ahead and shut this down right quick.